And welcome back to hour 3 of episode 5 of Unfettered. Um, what are you guys up to?
Um,
So, uh, so Albert's back in his office, in his quarters. Um, he's just kind of like sitting at his desk, brooding, like pulling out his journal, writing something down. He's clearly pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
I just walk in.
Constance.
Vessinger. We both know each other's names.
Do you have some kind of business?
Yeah, so we're gonna go search for this artifact.
We won't be doing that. It's a terrible idea. And I'm
So
strictly.
what happens when the governor gets it?
It's all a matter of fate, anyways. I doubt
Yeah,
the
and
governor's
fate
anything
showed
close
us
to
where it was. I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
Look, I'm not going to unearth this weapon and bring it out into the world.
You realize the irony with the thing that's on your belt right now, right?
Yes, a spyglass. Look. This is exactly why I know this is a terrible idea.
But you're willing to use it.
You know nothing, Constance. Do you even know what this is? Do you know what it does? Do you know what this lotus of yours really is? I told Smithers years ago that he shouldn't pursue this matter. I told him that it would only lead to more destruction than he could bear the weight of. He didn't listen to me. And now we come back all the way down the line to this.
I know of destruction. Trust me. We've all done things that we regret.
Did you blow up a continent?
I blew up the majority of Maradoon.
As did we all. But Maradoon is still alive. People of Maradoon are still alive. Oppressed, yes. In pain, suffering, dying day by day. But Maradoon is still here. And that's the difference between true calamity and something that'll eventually be history.
Well, at this point right now, history is going to have the Empire killing us all, and killing the rest of this continent, and enslaving its people. We want to stop this.
We want to stop the Empire, yes. But we don't need to use these weapons. It will lead to no good.
Your current plan might as well be walk into the manor and get yourself killed.
Great, we don't have to fight the governor at the moment. We can go get more troops. We can steal more ships.
But this is the equivalent of getting more troops. We are talking about something that can make a difference.
Make the difference in whether or not Hersagul still exists. Look, this continent won't be here anymore if we toy around with this. If we allow fate to take us in the path if we let this take us in the path that it's going to take us on, there might not be a world left to save.
Do you believe in the gods, the fates?
I believe very well in fate.
Well, fate showed us where this is.
Fate has shown me exactly where that goes.
And then I just kind of just stop for a second. Sometimes you need power to be free from yourself.
Well, isn't that a nice little phrase? Sometimes power will just destroy things. Look, the last thing, okay, so let's say we get the lotus. What happens when we die? What happens when we reach the end of our line and the Empire takes that from us? What then? Say we find the power of mass destruction. How do we use that? Are we going to blow up Mullins? Are we going to go to the capital and destroy it? There's
What do you think an army
a
would do?
limit. An army doesn't erase continents from the map. Again, I have to keep saying this to you.
Do you know what the Lotus does?
I don't, and I don't want to find
Exactly.
out. I don't want to find out what the next Lotus does either.
If
Look,
it's
there's
too powerful or too dangerous, we can just throw it into the arcane, and then the Empire would have no chance of getting you. But right now, the Fates have told us we should go. And there's some things you don't toy with, and I don't feel like defying the Fates.
I think that I won't. I think I'd much rather not toy with this artifact than with the Fates.
What has you so scared?
Have I not said this several times?
No, I've heard what you've said, but there's something you were not saying. What is it?
I've said what I was going to say. Looking after these ruins, these ancient weapons, will eventually just lead to destruction. A long time ago, I decided that it would be better for the Empire to conquer the world and have no enemies left to search for this sort of thing than to try and stall out a war. Once people get desperate, they do things they shouldn't.
And so you're saying we should start another war so people can get desperate?
No, I'm saying that there is no... I was wrong in the past. I'll admit it. So long as the Empire exists, there will be no end to war, to this war. Eventually, someone at some point is going to dig up one of these weapons and destroy us all. The only chance we have at stopping it is killing the Empire before they can. And I'm not going to accelerate that clock.
Right now, it is our best option.
I don't care if it's our best option.
Don't fry the captain. Don't fry the captain. Don't fry the captain.
I'm not doing this right now, Constance.
Vessinger, this isn't about your personal beliefs. Right now, we are working at something much bigger.
It is. And if we're going to start trying to pick up weapons from the old eras, that much bigger thing is destroying all of Hersagul. How many times do I have to spell it out for you? Finding artifacts leads to people dying. More people than we can take responsibility for here.
And you think you can take responsibility when you gather your troops and send them to their deaths?
Yes, I've already taken responsibility for that. I'd rather a small group of people die than the chance of life ceasing to exist.
You assume only small people are going to die. Have you seen what the Empire does? Every time we start anything, they're going to come down with their full force, and even the innocents will pay for it.
The world's still here. I'm prepared to die, Constance. But I'm not
And
going
you
to
don't
look
think
for
the
these
world
objects.
is as well?
The world shouldn't die. Are you kidding me?
If its people are willing to lay down their lives, what do you think the spirit of the land thinks?
I couldn't give two shits what the spirit of the land thinks.
Well, I do. And it's talked to me before, and it's time we have another conversation. And I just kind of like close the door and just walk out. And I'm gonna go to the Pleasure Palace.
Okay.
Spirit of the land is your deck of cards.
My fists are not the spirit of the land. Albert, are you still like... I think we get like a last moment with Albert alone in his cabin. What do we see?
Probably like as Constance leaves, Albert kind of turns around and like walks out to the window, and just kind of like he has this like heavy expression of just like weight, I guess. You know, like something's clearly like nipping away at him. He's not letting it show.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna
you
take
head to
Gamzee's
the Pleasure Palace.
with I'm taking a friend. We're
Okay.
taking Gamzee's with us.
All right.
Gamzee's? Gamzee's?
Whatever
Gamsies.
works.
I will remember it if it's Gamsies. So,
It's Gamsies then.
so yeah, I'm gonna take Gamsies with me. I'm just like angrily like, coming with me. Start walking off the ship.
Okay. She waves goodbye. Goodbye.
I'm
Get
gonna.
on the, so we get on the pleasure palace and just like, we're flying into the middle of the desert.
Oh,
Sitting on the ship.
that is what we are doing. And here I thought for a moment that you had a good idea. Why are we doing this?
I have to meet the spirit of the land. Okay.
The Rumara.
Yeah.
If you would like to speak with me, we don't have to go to the desert for that.
No, the real one, the giant elementally one.
Oh.
That one. The one who gave me the
Roasted,
sword?
I see. If, well, about that, oh, okay, I would just like to give a letter to a traveler first, you know, just to tell important people that I care about them. Just, it will only take a small amount of time. I promise I will be right back.
I just start the ship when they start walking off.
She's like, don't go anywhere, just wait, like, 10 minutes. And she goes and, like, leaves the skyport for a little bit.
Sitting there, tapping my foot.
Albert, what are you gonna do on the ship?
I'm gonna call the crew together and tell them that we're departing.
Okay.
We're gonna rendezvous with with
Lord Austinwald's revenge?
Lord Austinwald's revenge.
Okay.
And I don't know what he's gonna do after that point, but he's just gonna get there. That's
yeah, I think you're like,
He lost his plan.
alright,
The plan left the ship.
prepare to make way. We're heading to rendezvous with Lord Austinwald's revenge, and Azir's like, what about Constance?
Constance needs some time to think. I'm sure she'll come crawling back at some point.
I see. And they won't say anything after that. They'll just they'll help the crew get ready.
Yeah.
And so I think we get this nice, like, comparison shot of the crew getting here. Did you ever name that second ship?
Nope.
The cog.
God damn it. Yeah, okay, so the crew is getting the cog together.
The elements surprise.
I
The cog.
like the cog. The crew is getting the cog together,
The cog.
and Gamses comes back to the Pleasure Palace, and we see the two ships, like, leave port around the same time and then fly off in two different directions. So let's follow Albert for a bit. So you sail back to the Lord Austinwald's revenge, and it's set down between some sand dunes, a short ways out of the city, and like, so you land nearby, and you see Kelly on the deck of the ship hail you, and then hop over the side and come sort of trotting over to the cog as you land.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the word, Captain?
For the moment, we're leaving Dun Simic. We're probably going to start scoping out a new target. Constance.
Did you
Time for herself.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Found something. Good enough.
That's certainly not cryptic. And Constance isn't with you?
She's flying about the desert looking for some elemental.
All right. She makes a face that we can clearly tell that it's like she's running through a conversation with herself. Like, well, you got yourself into this. Uh we'll have the revenge ready to sail as soon as you give the order, Captain.
Good. Thank you. And he's just gonna like go back and sit in his quarters while he waits for things to start up.
Yeah. I think as as the both of you head back to your respective ships, you can see Mabel looking out one of the windows of the what was previously the captain's quarters, so out of the cabin, and she's like watching the two of you talk, and then you turn around and she looks like she's looking for something, and then she goes back inside.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we follow, like, our camera follows Kelly for a bit, and she climbs back up onto the ship, and Roderick's like, I saw the captain. Where's the quartermaster? If I had a good answer for that one. And then we cut to Constance flying out over the desert, the wind in her hair.
So we just have to find the place where all four elements are. So we just need to find that oasis. It's
Well,
this way.
the last time you found it, you were walking in the desert for quite some time, yes?
Flying-ish. I had a wyvern.
That is somewhat how this goes. You do not find Rumara so much as Rumara finds you. So, once we are far enough from the city, yes, this should do. You can
Start
land
walking.
now.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna like take the ship down and all that, and just sit, land in the sand, be like,
Yeah.
I have to read you the paint.
Yeah, Gemzi's like pulls a crate with some supplies like toward the door of the cabin, and she settles her. The cabin's sort of like there's this back area of the boat that you can sit in and control everything, and then there's a small stairway down into the cabin. So she pulls it to the foot of the stairs and then settles herself on the stairs, leans up against the wall, and pops a cork off of a water skin. I will watch the boat. You can go do your spirit journey.
All right, but before I go, and then like my eyes turn white for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot and kill Ganses.
Murder her for XP. Oh, nice.
Just anchor myself to the pleasure palace.
Yeah, there's like an arc of electricity that sparks off of you and singes the like lintel above the doorway into the cabin.
Yeah, and so like but when I first take a step, there's just like a static outline of me for a second.
Yeah. And I think you carry some of that charge, and so when you step off of the boat, some of the sand lifts up in sort of a field around you until it discharges.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna start walking.
Yeah, so you are going to go wander into the desert.
Even better.
Oh no. Are you gonna fly into the desert?
Yep. But I fly the fun way.
Flying speed of 60. Dang, that lasts a long time. All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, you like get carried up by this gust of wind, I suppose.
Lasts for hypothetically 25, or was it 50 minutes?
It says concentration up to 10.
Total. No, like totally. In total.
Oh yeah, if I keep casting it over and over again, I can go 50 minutes with it because of spell points. Or
Okay.
sight points.
So, yeah, you fly off into the desert, and we see Gamses take a swig. This is a nice boat. It will be a good first boat for me. And then we get sort of like a montage of a couple shots of Constance going into the desert, and eventually your 50 minutes are up, and then it's walking and walking, and the wind like rushes past you, and we get maybe a time lapse of the sun going across the sky. Could you roll religion for me, please?
I am gonna spend inspiration for this
Seems like a
because
good
I
idea.
feel like that's a really important
Double one.
thing.
Double one.
I know, that's what I'm expecting.
Double one.
Oh shit! Dat 20 though.
It's not nat 20 though.
Still pretty good.
It's
Still a
really
20.
fucking good.
Yeah, so you wander into the desert for several hours. You left pretty early in the morning. So it's probably into the afternoon, not quite the evening yet. Maybe sometime around 5. It's past the hottest part of the day, but the sun's been beating down on you, and like your skin is flushed. Maybe there are some spots where you're clearly burning at this point. And eventually you stop to take a rest, and think maybe you should have brought some water with you.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
And then the dune shifts underneath you, and you find yourself sliding as the ground moves in unpredictable ways, and maybe like the string section kicks up, and we get this like fast-paced sort of frantic sequence, and then you start tumbling down this dune, and we get a close-up shot of you as you fall down the dune and then stop with sort of like a wet smack. And you look up, and you are at the edge of an oasis. What do you do?
Water. Getting up, start walking towards it's water break time. Yep. Water. I like water. Just look at the water. I really hope you're clean.
Yeah, and the water is bubbling. I think it's not coming up from a spring in the ground or anything. There's a sphere of water floating in the air that the water is pouring out of.
I'll take it from there.
As this sort of like rift to the elemental plane of water is out here in the desert.
Yeah. Oh right, that's the whole thing about this place is there's just random rifts stuff.
Yeah. And like there's clearly there are clearly several rifts gathered in this one place. Some of the sand at the edge of the oasis has coalesced into like a marble, where there's a rift to the plane of earth. There's a gout of flame nearby, slowly creating a like pool of naturally spun glass.
I'm taking some of that.
And there's a soft breeze fluttering through the whole area. And then the water, we see ripples as a voice calls out. It has been many years, child of the storm.
Oh shit, it worked. Stay there. I thought I was gonna die out here. Hi, Spirit. It's been a while. Standing there.
It
Yeah.
has.
So I'm about ready for that, destiny thing that I said I was ready for a few years ago. And I wasn't ready for. I'm sorry.
Why should we trust you now?
Stop. In all honesty, you really shouldn't. I'm a pirate. I deceived you. I thought you wouldn't follow me.
There's like this deep laugh from the earth and the air, and like all of the elements at once. We knew you were attempting to deceive us.
This is why I keep losing poker. Flash to Constance holding a deck of cards and yes.
Yeah, with like the most obvious tell. Everyone, there are like a bunch of gruff piratey types at the table, and they all sort of like throw up their hands and fold.
Well, you trusted me when I wasn't ready. Why wouldn't you trust me when I think I am?
A lesson needed to be learned.
I think it's about time that the Empire knows that the land disagrees with them.
What have you learned? Are you still a child of the storm? Or have you become something else? Are you ready to be something else?
I think at this point I'm just going to turn and just look at it and just in this moment of like being okay, look at it being source of voice being this entire area. Like look at where
I think maybe like our
breeze.
camera zooms out and we see the shape of a face in this oasis.
Yeah, so I kind of like face this essence, spirit, like wherever I feel the most presence surrounding me, and just be like, now things have changed. I know that I need power to be free and to free everyone else. That I need to be the eternal storm.
Your power, Storm, is not of us, but we know it, and we know what it can do. If you are ready, then go back to your world. Take with you your power. Do not stop until you have become the storm. Do not stop until the world knows you for what you truly are. This is the destiny we have seen.
I'm going to seek the Lotus, and I will use it, and whatever other tools I need to let them know the storm has come.
I think there's a brief quaking in the earth, and like the sands shift around you. Maybe a rock breaks, but Constance stands firm. The land knows these tools. They were made of it before even our time. You are not the only one who seeks them. Others would use them to destroy the land. See that this is not so, and you will have our aid when you need it.
Thank you. And I think, yeah, that's like at this point, Constance just whooshes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they start to fade.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the
the
sort of rifts to the elemental planes begin to close, and the dune behind you parts, and you can see, like, there's a part running down the desert, and as you fade, as you teleport, we see a spark, like this black spark of electricity, carry you back to your anchor point, and it follows this path in the desert, back to the Pleasure Palace.
I just like poof in front of like just. I think this time it's much more violent of an arrival.
Yeah, there's like electricity skittering around the metal pulleys and whatnot on the boat for a couple seconds after you appear. By the elements,
Yeah, that's how I got back.
you are not dead.
Why would I be dead?
I have to say, I am surprised. I was
Have to have a conversation.
I am
I was
also slightly disappointed. I was starting to grow attached to.
I just like pat her on the shoulder. That's funny. You think I can die?
I am beginning to question.
And then like for a moment, I'm gonna be like, oh right, and I just boop her on the head and send her like all of the elements all at once. Just a flash of that. We're done. Let's get moving.
Yeah, she drops the water skin and it just like starts pouring out on the deck, and
Oh, wait,
she
I haven't
just
had enough water.
she just sits there in silence. And yeah, you can return to the other ships, or you can try, I suppose. You have a sending stone, so you can contact.
I'm gonna be like,
and there are sending stones in the
find out
Pleasure
where they
Palace for the other two, right?
I think we just have like.
I'm pretty sure we have all of them on one ship.
Yeah, so we have.
Okay. So you have
Lord
one that
Austin's
links
Revenge
back.
Has one to everything.
Yeah, so you have one that
Let's
links
take
back to Lord Austinwald's Revenge, and you personally have one that goes to Albert.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think I'm gonna pick up the one to Lord Oswald's Revenge and be like, this is Constance, fresh in from the meeting the spirit of the land. Where can I find you?
The what now? Oh, this is Mabel answering the stone.
Mabel! I'm just suddenly let's go. Oh yeah, where are you guys?
We're in the desert somewhere. Should
Hey, Kelly.
yeah, okay. So I'm really sorry. Okay, I'll be right back. Just
Kelly.
wait here. There's like a clattering as she drops the sending stone on the desk and goes to get
Let's just pick that direction. I say at this point. Just start flying at first. Just, let's get this warmed up.
Yeah, Gamzee is just like, sure. Yeah, and Kelly will let you know roughly where in the desert they are. And I'm pretty sure the Pleasure Palace is faster than either of the ships, so no matter whether they're hanging out or moving, you should be able to catch up. So, Albert.
Okay.
Where are you?
Albert was probably like considering his options. So how long has it been since you went on your like little vision quest in the desert?
It's been most of a day.
Most of the day. Okay.
Yeah. So you probably left somewhere around 9 a.m. and it is now 5:30.
Okay. He would have probably set orders to return to Sanctuary. Probably patch up the main ship, the cog, and then start raiding that same trading route we were going at earlier to find Empire ships. Interfering with Empire trading routes in Margin at the moment is not the best.
Okay.
Well,
So
in his mind, he just doesn't want to fuck with Margin at the moment because this whole Lotus thing.
So you're going like 80 miles out. Ish is probably around where you are. Okay. So,
At some point, Gamses gets to tag in for piloting, and then I'll pilot. So we're at least the Pleasure Palace is a 24-hour ship right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have a moment with Zaire, if that's all right.
Okay. Yeah, you can find them. They've probably stayed on the cog.
Yeah. So I probably would have just sent someone to like run over and grab them and bring them over.
Okay. You wanted to see me, Captain?
Tell me, Zaire, what do you think of fate?
I think it is hard to understand, but
Easy to learn.
I think also that it presents choices in ways many do not realize.
Interesting.
Fate does not, I do not think, keep us from making choices. Fate, I think, tells us which moments in time we can't change. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
It is not it is not the whole plan. It is the moments that must be. And the other moments, those are where us mortals have the most power.
So what you're saying is, in your mind, what's been foretold will happen.
In some way or another. But that is the way of fate, is it not? When fate guides us to things, when fate, in its rare moments, shows us things, it leaves room so that we cannot really know.
What have I even been spending all my time doing? Ugh. And Vessinger's just kind of like gonna walk over and like sit in the chair behind his desk and like lean back. I need a drink. He grabs like a bottle of like rum from behind his desk. Would you like one?
No, thank you. I think if I may be so bold, what you have been doing, for the most part, is being in jail and then learning what it means to not be in jail.
I have been alive a lot longer than you think.
That's maybe true, but these experiences, they change people. Even more so if they have seen so much.
Interesting. I don't think that fate can be, I don't think fate is an exact picture, Zaire. Sorry to encounter to you. Because if that was the case, then, well, nothing I would have done, what I have done to this point would have meant anything.
That is, in fact, exactly what I say. For example, I saw this place in the desert, this that your friend was looking for. I did not see us there. Perhaps it is not our fate to go there. But what fate has told me is that someone will.
Interesting.
What we do with that information, that must be decided by who we are, what our morals are. If it were up to me, I would be there now. Because I have been away from this war for too long. I have seen the world. I have felt the gift of the traveler's privilege. And I had grown deaf to the hardship of my people. And seeing it again, experiencing it again, I do not know how I can fight without having done everything. But I know that that choice is not mine to make.
I don't want to deal with this Lotus.
I would say also that it is the folly of ignorant men to think that they understand these things fully, or even understand their dangers. You do not even know how to use that spyglass.
Well, I know how to use it like a spyglass.
That is my point. If I may?
If you blow something up, it's your problem.
They laugh. I may not know everything that this can do. But I have seen things like it. And these, and they begin rotating the rings on it. When there are devices with these many options, it is rare that they do just one. And I have seen this one phrase before. And there's a click as they rotate the rings into a position you haven't seen before. And they collapse the spyglass down and set it, like, large lens down on your desk, and a large ethereal projection of, like, a map of Hersagul appears in the air above your desk. And this phrase, this is the ancient phrase for our world.
I've seen this before, yes. I didn't realize that you could control it to do that. I don't want to deal with these artifacts any longer.
It
Look.
is, however, and they like grab at the map and pull, and it like zooms in to where you are, and you can see the cog and Lord Austenwald's revenge in some distance off the Pleasure Palace, and you can see people walking around on the decks of the ship. Quite useful, you must admit. And they like bring it back close to zoom out, and then zoom in on Mulland, and they start sort of moving the map past with their eyes closed, and they're muttering a prayer to fate. And they stop, and then furrow their brow, and then move back to Maradoon, and to a city you don't recognize, to a ship, like an imperial ship, in the skyport, and you see a figure that you recognize speaking to one that is vaguely familiar, like that moment where you swear you've seen that person before, but you're not sure who they are. And you see Malachi Kent, his flagship, also docked nearby, speaking to somebody on the aft deck of a ship.
Malachi, what on earth is he doing? How did you do that, Zaire?
I asked fate. Fate provided.
And fate delivered, yes. Travelers. I look at it. Can we zoom in a little bit? I'm gonna try and read his lips.
Yeah, they like they try and zoom in further, and you can get like reasonably close. I think if you wanted to read lips, there's probably a thing you could roll for that.
Probably perception.
Perception. I'm gonna give you disadvantage because it's like holographic and still kind of at a distance.
Don't need to give me disadvantage.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna give it to you, but yeah, no, you can't. You can't quite make it out. But you do see him extend a hand to the captain that he's speaking with. You can recognize based on like the uniform and whatnot, the relative ranks. He holds out a hand, and the captain like puts their boots together, one arm behind the back, and does a one-armed sort of like respectful handshake.
Seem familiar, but I can't place them. Anyways,
I think now would be a good time for the Pleasure Palace to catch up.
Yeah.
No, don't ram them! Don't ram them!
There's a groaning, scraping sound as the Pleasure Palace scrapes against the side of the cog.
After landing in the sand, anyways.
Sorry. This is I don't do this normally.
Where's the good pilot when you need one?
Hello. Kelly was like, hey. Right over here.
I think the proper thing to do is, like dock the ship next to the other one. Constance just jumps from one ship to the other.
Yeah.
Just lands.
The crew's like,
applause.
Yeah, one crew member.
Yeah, it's like it's the crew member that we saw earlier trying to be all like at Gemsies, and he's like, Quartermaster.
Damn straight. And I like go. I'm like, where's Vessinger?
The crew just sort of looks at the cabin.
I just walk up and just slam open the door.
Crank.
One of us has these tools. Slam.
Yeah, so the doors burst open, and Albert and Zaire see Constance standing probably in some ridiculous pose in the doorway. And Constance, you see some kind of illusion hovering over Albert's desk, and you see a figure that you recognize walking on the deck of a ship.
I shoot lightning at it.
Okay. You scorch the ceiling.
Can I make a dex save to block it off my desk? This is my
It
desk.
goes to the ceiling. We're good.
Yeah, so you jump to cover your desk, like, no, save the desk! Get down, Mr. President! And she zaps the ceiling. And Zaire will, like, they back up against the wall just to, like, stay out of the line of fire.
Okay, first of all, how is that justified in any way? It's a tiny little illusory one.
I wanted to watch it explode.
You can't explode an illusion. It's like
I
still
didn't know
there.
that it was not solid yet.
She just
Might
does
be a-
this.
Heard about some people in the Freeports talk about dolls that you can stab and it hurts the person that it looks like. I was hoping.
People in the Freeport don't talk about things that matter.
Well,
I would explain why they don't talk about... Never mind.
anyways, I just got back from speaking to the land.
Oh, great. He like pulls up like some sand. How are you doing, by the way? I haven't talked to you in so long.
So in response, I just bop him on the head and he gets like the full conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, these visions can't lie. There is no manipulating them.
I could think of a couple ways.
I was like, feel free to try to manipulate it.
Zaire rolls their eyes.
I'm not a psychic. Or whatever the hell you are. Ugh.
I
Walking destruction? Ugh.
believe it's walking storm, but yes.
Same thing.
The land has spoken. Even the land wants us to find the artifacts.
I don't care about the land. But I
Yes, you do. That was your entire argument.
don't care about what the land thinks.
Everything.
And, okay, so now Albert Vessinger has been entered into, what is it called? Sensitivity class, by HR. We need to address consent and what that means.
The land doesn't get to decide to blow itself up. Alright?
But do you think the people of the land are allowed to fight a bloody war and all of the innocents who didn't choose to fight the war who do die, that's fine.
I'm not going to say it's fine, but that's a cost.
Gemzy
Yes.
like, clears her throat from the doorway. It is not your cost to pay, imp.
Wait, hold on. Who is she calling imp?
You. Imp is a Marin slur for people from Mulland.
Imp?
Yes, short for Imperial.
Gamzees, please be a little bit more considerate. I motion to the wings.
I don't think you're being very considerate to.
No, you are not. They are my people that will die. They were my people that died when I asked them to fight the Empire. It was the leader of my city that was executed by the Imperials for his involvement, that they said we killed. It is my people that are being poisoned, both in their minds and in their bodies. It is my people that wake up every day being told by themselves now that they are wrong for existing.
Well,
You
I'm
do
gonna
not get to say when they die.
I don't want to say when they die. Look, I don't want the Empire to possess weapons of mass destruction. I don't want Hersagul to be blown up. That's where my loyalty begins and ends.
Then we go and we get it and we throw it into the Arcane and we destroy it. But
Fine. We'll do that then. Please be considerate. My friend just died. A day ago.
your friend just died. I would be sorry for you, except my family has died. Almost everyone I know has died because of the actions of you and the people you worked with. Your debt
True.
is what you have to pay off.
I was willing to pay that off the day I signed up.
And she looks at Constance. Do not think I have forgotten your involvement as well.
No one can.
So, Gemzy sort of like looks kind of uncomfortable.
Well, we're gonna grab this lotus and throw it off the edge of the planet.
Then
That's where I'm at.
I
If it convinces me otherwise, then we won't. But if you're trying to convince me that we should at least find this lotus to make sure the Empire doesn't, and it's a weapon, I'm not gonna use that.
But I will. You did remember the part where the land itself told us that the Empire is actively looking for it, and others, right?
I understand. We will have to find them. Fine.
Gemzy sort of like backs away from the door, like she was involved. She said her thing. She's like she doesn't know how to extricate herself from the conversation, so she's just sort of moving away. And she looks like makes eye contact with Zaire, and they nod, and the two of them just sort of like boop walk out while you guys continue your argument.
So there's like the image of Malachi still up on the like hologram, like I start just batting at it, trying to get rid of it. Just, like, distracting me.
Like Vessinger just like pushes her out. Stop it! You're gonna destroy something.
I think we fade out, like we zoom out of we pull out of the room with our camera, and we hear the two of you bickering, and there's like some crashing. No, careful of the desk! And like the two Genasi just sort of like shrug. And I think this is a good place for us to take our last break of the episode.
Yeah.
All right. I like Top Hat's face is frozen on my screen, but it's frozen in this like everything's a giant mess smile, and I kind of like it, so I'm gonna leave it for now. We'll be back in just a little bit for the final hour of episode 5 of Unfettered. Don't go anywhere.